This Sunday's Gospel reading is Mark's account of the Transfiguration, where Jesus takes Peter, James, and John high up a mountain, and then in a wonderful, mysterious moment, Jesus is transformed before them. He shines with glory. Moses and Elijah appear, and a voice from heaven says to the disciples, "This is my beloved Son, listen to him." Now the three disciples who are chosen to accompany Jesus are the inner circle of the 12, the three that seem to us to be closest to Jesus. And yet, although they've been chosen to witness this moment of glory, they are far from perfect, aren't they? Peter is impulsive. We read in the Gospels how he resists the idea that Jesus must suffer, and Jesus rebukes him strongly. He denies Jesus. James and John, for their part, have dreams about being the greatest of the 12 and sitting in great seats of honor on either side of Jesus. All three fail to watch and pray with Jesus in Gethsemane, and they run when he is arrested. So all three are works in progress. God's voice from heaven says to them, "This is my Son, and because he is the Son of God, you are to listen to him. He is the glorious one." Disciples of Jesus are those who listen to the Son. But these disciples don't always do that, and neither do we. I love the story told of a philosophy student who once approached the Christian philosopher Dallas Willard and said to him, "Prof, you are clearly a well-educated and a highly intelligent man. Why is it then that you follow Jesus?" And Willard, as was his practice, paused for a moment and then said thoughtfully to the student, "Well, who else did you have in mind? Who else should I follow? Who else is there to follow? Who else should I listen to? He is the Son of God." In his book, The Divine Conspiracy, Willard expands on why we should listen to Jesus. He says, Jesus is not just nice, he is brilliant. He is the smartest man who has ever lived. He is now supervising the entire course of human history while simultaneously preparing the rest of the universe for our future role in it. He always has the best information on everything, and certainly on the things that matter most in the human life. And so we should listen to him, says Dallas Willard. What is encouraging, though, is that Jesus persists with these flawed disciples, and they grow, don't they? These days we call Peter, James, and John St. Peter, St. James, St. John. There is hope for you and me too. The last thing that needs to be said about this passage is that as we approach the season of Lent, we need to remember that these glorious scenes and mystical moments with Jesus do not immunize him from suffering. In fact, for Jesus, in many ways, his glory is cross-shaped, as it is for the three disciples with him. Their paths will go in a similar direction. We don't get to live our lives on top of the Mount of Transfiguration. We live our lives in the valley, together with all the challenges and the hardships of the valley. We take courage from the high mountain moments, but our glory is cross-shaped, like it is for Jesus, as we live the lives of disciples seeking to listen obediently to the one who first took up his cross for the sake of love. So what would it look like for you and I this week to listen to Jesus? To listen to the Lord, the Holy One, the smartest man who has ever lived, the one who gave himself for love of us. Amen.